Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. And today I was going to make a combination between planner content and plotting content. We're going to put those two together because, as I've said in the last two videos now, I think, November's coming up. That means writing time, and I thought, why don't I make a combination and do a little bit of planning, plotting in my videos about the story instead of like telling you what I've written so far. I'll occasionally probably also talk a little bit about what I've written, but mostly I'm going to do planning and plotting on here. So I have here a lovely college notebook from the Hema in Miffy pattern, as you can see. Very cute. Has a sticker on the back still, 200 pages, 100 gram, and 4 tabs that can be arranged. Has its own little thing here. Also, a pocket. This did not come with it, but it has a pocket up front here. You got a little title page, and then 4 of these guys that are kind of like a transparent plastic thing, as you can see. You can kind of see my hand through there, and it's got a little Miffy head on each. And as you can see, I've put like little labels on each of these tabs. So you got your characters. I just abbreviated that to cars, world, events, and plots. So they each have a good amount of paper between the tabs, so I'm gonna probably not fill all of it, but you know, I got those in here. There's nothing in here yet, but we're gonna work on that in a moment. So the idea is today I'm gonna take all of the Stardew Valley characters that I have printed out portraits of. I only have a black and white printer, that's why they're not in color. And I'm going to probably, first of all, I'll give them a name each and figure out if Lewis would murder them or not. So that sounds like fun to you, then you're in the right place. Anyway, so I have a tab for characters, and then if you want to write something about the world, like certain things that tend to happen, like what type of world is it, what type of valley is it, what type of stuff is in the mountains, and that sort of thing, what cities are nearby, that can go into the world section. We've got events, things that happened in the world and also in town. Could also be annual things, like in Stardew Valley they have like an annual egg festival type of thing. I don't think I'm going to copy those events, but we will probably have some type of annual celebrations or something like that for people to look forward to. And then the last tab is a plotting tab. You can't see because the keyboard is over there. A plotting tab, and I'll just write stuff in here about things that I think will happen, etc., etc. So we have the character tab here, and I have here a bunch of printed portraits of everybody in the game that I think may make an appearance in the story, but not all of them will be the same as they are in the game. So Emily, well, they're definitely going to be in there, but for instance, well, not as Emily, but you know, the type of character will be in there. Now this is the wizard. If you've never played the game, this person lives in a tower in a forest, and he's kind of weird. He has, of course, magic, and he brews potions and stuff like that. I don't know if I want magic in my world. That makes things a little too complicated and other things too simple. Like the magician, if you really wanted to, the wizard, if you really wanted to, could probably brew a potion that makes him like see things, and then he could very easily tell who the murderer is, like that type of thing. So that would be very unfortunate for my plots. So I don't think I'll make him a wizard. Maybe I'll just have a weirdo living somewhere in the forest who everybody kind of ignores because he's kind of weird and looks a little dangerous, like that type of thing. Or maybe I'll just not have him there at all. Or this could be the vagrants. One of those two. Anyway, so I'm not sure about them. Pretty much everybody else in the stack is going to be in there. This is Evelyn. For the people who don't know Stardew Valley, I'm just going to go through them to tell you their names. Evelyn, old lady, lives in town. This is Willie, the fisherman. A little difficult to see because it was very darkly printed over here. They're richly colored. This is Demetrius. He is a biologist living in the valley, lives in the mountains. This is Pierre. He runs the store, basically. This is Alex. He lives with his grandmother and grandpa, so Evelyn and George. This is Haley. They've kind of like been shuffled as I put them in here, so these are not like super related. This is Haley, one of the single girls in town. And this is Caroline. She is the shopkeeper's wife. And she also grows tea. This is Linus, so this will be the hero of the story. So I should probably put him aside because I want to do the main characters first. He is the one who lives in the tent in the mountains, so he's the one who's like outside of town. In case you missed my previous video, he's probably going to be the one who has the best distant view of what's going on, so that's him. This is Morris. He is, I believe, manager of the Joja Mart that is in town. So I guess I'll make him the manager of the mining corporation that's coming in. This is Marlon. He is with the Adventurers Guild. I don't think we'll have an Adventurers Guild, so I have to give him a completely different role. This is Robin. She is the town's carpenter. She builds everything. She does all the house extensions and that type of thing. And this is Gunter. He runs the library and the museum. That's one building. This is Gus. He is a local bartender and chef. He cooks for everybody if they want it. This guy does not come up much because he's only ever inside one building, and that is the Adventurers Guild that Marlon is also a part of. So he is also part of the Adventurers Guild. Collects information on how many monsters you've killed, but he doesn't really do much other than that, so maybe I'll drop this character entirely. One of them flipped over. This is Leah. She is the artist that lives just outside of town center and isn't selling much unless she is actually dating the player character, like I said last time. This is Elliot. If I can grab him, there we go. This is the writer who lives on the beach. He's very melodramatic, so also not a very economically viable character for town, from Lewis's perspective. And then we have, at least he hasn't sold much books, just like Leah not selling any art until the player starts dating them. Elliot doesn't actually publish his book until the player starts dating him, so neither of them is actually producing anything unless the player starts dating them. And of course the player, in this case the farmer, I guess, who doesn't have a picture in here, isn't really going to date anybody. Well, maybe they will, but I don't know. It's going to be like maybe in the background because I don't want the farmer to be the main character this time. Anyway, this is Penny. She lives in a trailer with her alcoholic mother Pam next to Lewis's place. This is Harvey. This is the town doctor. He doesn't do much other than that. Usually whenever you talk to him, he's got some health-related commentary to give you, and he doesn't have much personality until you get to know him a little better. And then it doesn't get much more interesting. But okay, fine. And this is Jody. She has 2 kids in town, one of them being Sam and the other being Vincent. And she has a husband, Kent. They live in a house together. This is resident emo boy, Sebastian. He lives in the basement of his mother's house, which is Robin the Carpenter, with Demetrius, who is his stepfather. And Demetrius does not care much for Sebastian, to be honest. They don't care much for each other. This is Abigail. This is the shopkeeper's daughter and also a sort of a gothy girl in town. Her hair is normally like a bit of a purple. Can't see that with my black and white printing. Come on, I want to pick up this picture. There we go. This is Jazz. This is one of the 2 kids in town. Not much to say about her. She is potentially the wizard's daughter, but a lot of people think that Abigail is. Maybe we can do something about that with the plot. I don't know, but for now, not much going on with her either. She lives, by the way, with Shane and Marnie. This is Vincent. This is one of Jody's children, so she lives with them, or he lives with them. And here's Kent. That's Vincent's father. And Jody's wife. I cannot get him off the stack. There we go. This is Kent. This is the veteran that lives in town. She's just come back from the war when you enter your 2nd year. This is... oh, I'm stuck. This is Pam. So this is the town drunk and bus driver when the bus is back up. And this over here is... oh, there we go. This is Sam. They live with Jody, Kent, and Vincent. That's their household. Then we have Maru. She lives with her mother, Robin, and her father, Demetrius, because it is her father. And, of course, Sebastian, who lives in the basement. And she is like a science-y type. She builds robots and does all sorts of things that are science-y. I don't tend to talk to her much, so I don't really know what she does. But she has a robot. I do know that. And then we have Marnie. She runs the ranch outside of town. She lives in the ranch with Shane and Jazz. Then we have George, also known in the Stardew Valley community as Wheels, because he's in a wheelchair, and he's really, really grumpy. So it's not because he's in a wheelchair that people call him Wheels. It sounds kind of disrespectful, but it's mostly because he's such a huge grump. He doesn't like anything except leeks for some reason, and you really can't make him happy most of the time. He's really grumpy pants, but okay, fine. He's married to Evelyn, and he lives in the house with Evelyn and Alex. We've already seen him. This is Shane. He lives with Marnie and Jess. He is also kind of a drunk. Well, he's definitely drunk. and very much depressed. So he's kind of like in one of those downward spirals. He works for Jojo Marts and he hates it, but it's the only job that he can get in town. So he hates it, but he needs it, and he doesn't make a whole lot of money. Apparently they don't make a whole lot of money at Jojo Mart, so he's also not really getting anywhere with the job, even though that's the only thing he can do. This is the governor. He doesn't live in town. He shows up once a year for an annual event, and I may or may not include him. I think he may be more of a background character, like he's going to be mentioned occasionally, but I don't think he's ever going to show up. It's going to be like the power from beyond or the authority figure from beyond type of thing. Then we have Clint. He is the town's blacksmith. I'm probably going to make him a handyman or something. Like, who needs a blacksmith in a regular type of town? Not many people do. Unless he's like part of some historical reenactment group, I don't know. So he's also a bit of a loner, and a lot of people like to call him an incel, and he does then tend to have those types of dialogues. He tends to go for Emily, who was way at the start. Where are you? There you are. So this girl is actually a employee of the bar, so of Gus. And she's friendly with everybody because she's a very happy-go-lucky person. She's very light-hearted. She's also very spiritual. And this guy is constantly trying to get her attention, but she's like not getting it all because he's not actually being clear with what he wants. So he can't get rejected, but he's also not going to get accepted because she's just not into him like that. So that's interesting. So anyway, that's Clint. And then lastly, didn't plan it like that, but here he is. This is our murderer. This is Mayor Lewis. I showed a picture of that on screen last time as well, so you probably will recognize him. So this is our mayor, and he's going to go on page number 1 because he's one of the most important characters here. I only have this type of glue stick. I thought I had like a Prit type stick, but I don't see it. So we're just going to give him a quick bit of glue and then stick them on here. I think I'll just do one person or maybe two, like the first two, like Linus and Lewis, because they're both very important to the story, like so. That's gonna stay. So his name is Lewis. I don't know what his last name is. We only really know the last name of, I think, 3 people, because I think George is called Mr. Mulner by one of the characters at some point, so we know that it's George Mulner, Evelyn Mulner, and I'm guessing Alex Mulner. So that's 3 people whose last name we have, and I don't think we know any last names of anybody else. So for now, we're just calling him Lewis. And over here, I'm going to have to give him another name, which is his in-story name. I'm thinking Gerald would be a good one for him. Gerald with a D. So he is our murderer. And his motivation, I'm just going to write it down here. Motivation. Economic. Growth of town. Well, cannot write today. Of town. In his own weird way. And he is dating Marnie at the moment. Oops, Marnie. But doesn't really want it to be public. I don't know why. Want it to be public. Oops, that U looks weird. Knowledge. That's one bullet point for him. What else does he do? Collects taxes. But doesn't invest in the town. Likes to be well regarded by the governor. And what was the other thing I was going to write down? I had one more point. Oh yeah. Has never been opposed for the position of mayor Why though? Seems unlikely that nobody would ever try to run against somebody, so he must have something on someone. Like maybe there are people who would run, like Pierre, I think would be a candidate, because he would probably think he would get all sorts of benefits and he'd be able to, I guess, run things in town the way he would like it. That would be best for his own success and his own store. But I think in that Lewis may have some dirt on them, so they're not going to go for running against Lewis, because then his dirt would come out. Okay, so there is Lewis, and I'm going to give him a couple pages. Just 2. I don't think I'll be writing too much about it. And if I want more, I can always like put an extra page in between. Okay, then next I'm going to put our Linus on here, because he is our hero in the story. Maybe the reluctant hero. He kind of like keeps to himself, but that doesn't mean that he wouldn't step up and help out town if it were needed. So I'm thinking that is also one of his main motivations. So this is Linus, and what shall we call him in the story? He looks like a Robert, maybe because he looks a bit like Robin Williams. Well, let's call him Robert. First name that came to mind is probably going to be the best one. So he is a vagrant? No, let's just call him a free man, because he's out there because he wants to be, and he's enjoying himself. Did I write down his job over here? I wrote murderer. Okay. Murderer / mayor. There we go. Lives in the mountains. It's like a mountain man. Mountains? Whoops. Keeps his distance from people. Alternative. Oops. Lifestyle. I would definitely call him philosophical. Philosophical. Which is not like fickle. So there is Linus. Okay. Shall we just go down the list? Let's go and select people who would probably die. Ones I think would die. Alright, let's go through the list real quick. Clint is going to be a handyman. He's going to have jobs because people will always need things replaced and fixed, so he's probably not going to get murdered. Emily works at the bar. She's probably not going to get murdered. Governor is definitely not getting murdered because, well, unless he's like, now I can replace him, but that would be so far in the future. I don't think so. Shane has a job, but Shane I'm going to put in the maybe pile because I'm not entirely sure. George is old. He was in a mining accident. His legs don't work. He doesn't bring in any money. I think he has a pension, but he is definitely not likely to survive this. Barney may also not survive this, but not because she doesn't have a job. I have a different plan for her. I like Marnie, but it's like difference. So Maru is currently employed as a nurse at the doctor's office. I forgot to mention that, so she does have a job and something in town. Sam works at Jojo Mart's. I'm gonna put him in no pile for now. He's not really in the way, although they do say that he leads the community in community service points. In other words, he's been up to some trouble, but I think he has the young potential that Lewis wants. He wants young blood in town, so I guess Sam can stay for now. Pam is going to be the first to go. I already mentioned that last time. Kent is, well, he is in the Navy, I think, or some type of military branch anyway. And so he's getting some military money, so I'm guessing that is also keeping the town afloat, because they tend to get a good amount of money. Well, Vincent's too young, so is Jazz. They're going to grow up and eventually, hopefully, become something in town. Abigail is currently not doing any sort of work. She is doing some online schooling, but we don't know what for, or if it's going to do anything for her economically in the future. But she's also one of the young people who may eventually marry one of the others and then have kids, which then grows the town, so I'm guessing he's going to leave her alone. Sebastian is a programmer, so he has a job. He's bringing in money. We have Jody here. She is a homemaker. She's Ken's wife. Ken's bringing in money, so I'm guessing because of that, she's okay. You can't kill the town doctor because you need that guy, so we're gonna keep him. Now, she is not going to die. This is Penny. This is her daughter. Good English. I'm thinking that she's not going to die, but due to Pam dying and her probably not being able to afford the rent on her own with what little money Pam may have been able to bring in, or I don't know, or maybe just not wanting to live right next to where her mother died in a river, she may actually abandon the trailer and move into a town. So I'm going to put her in the murder pile, but it's now more of a will eventually disappear pile by the looks of things, because she's not going to die, but she's also not going to stick around for too much longer. Now, Elliot, we've already decided I've decided is an artistic soul who unfortunately does not bring in any money, which is not something that Mayor Lewis likes. Then we have Leah, same story, but different type of art. Gil, I think, is not even going to be in this story, so I'm going to put him in the will not play in this play thing. Gus is running the bar, so he's definitely bringing in money. He's also bringing in customers, so definitely want to keep around. Gunter has the library and the museum. That's bringing in a little money, not a whole lot. Like, not a lot of people are going to come over to see the museum collection because there's a couple of things in there, but it's not really super interesting. But I guess because he does bring in some money and he's usually just out of the way, I think Lewis is going to leave him alone. Now, Robin's going to need a different job. Well, she could remain a carpenter, but then it would be too on the nose that this is Robin and not somebody else in a completely new setting. So I don't know exactly what jobs it's going to be, but it's going to be something that everybody in town needs, and so she's going to be bringing in the money. I think Marlon needs a different job as well. Something to do with the mountains. Maybe he's like a guide or something. He does like guided tours across the mountain because there's like certain things up there people want to see, whatever, like a Sherpa type of thing. Maybe it's one of those mountains that people really like to climb, like Mount Everest. That might also be good to use as a mechanism for people disappearing. I don't know. But he's bringing in money, I guess, during certain seasons when people like to climb, so I guess I'll keep him around. Morris is probably going to be one of his best friends because this guy is all about the profits, and he's going to be the owner of the mining company, or at least the person who is there to run the operation. So they're going to be giving Lewis a lot of tax money, so they're going to stay alive. This is the shopkeeper's wife, so she's probably also going to stay alive. She personally does not bring in any money, but maybe I can give her something else to do. Like maybe she could actually start to work in the store. Maybe that's something she could do, but she's probably not going to die. Now, Haley's another one of those young people in town who's probably going to end up marrying and having a bunch of kids. At least that's what the people expect of young women in society, so I'm guessing Lewis is going to keep her around for that reason. And Alex, similar type of thing. Currently, though, he is not employed, but he's young, so he could eventually find a job somewhere, or there could be something, he could work in a mining corporation at some point. And there's that. Now, this is a shopkeep, so he's definitely bringing in money. You can only shop in town, so there's that. Now, this guy has money coming in because he is a biologist. So I'm guessing that would be a good reason. And also he's married to Robin, who is a town carpenter and who will be a town something that everybody needs. So you can't really pick him off either because then she might leave. And Willie has a fishing store, and there aren't many people fishing. I think Willie is a bit of a thin ice person, just like Shane. Like, he's got a job, but we're not really sure. We're probably not going to keep him around for very much longer. If he gets annoying to Lewis, then he's probably going to go, but other than that, maybe. So these are the people I don't know what that is, but if he ever bothers me in some way, they're out of here. And this is Evelyn. This is George's wife. George is also in this pile. Like, when George dies, here he is, way at the bottom. She might not do very well afterwards. Alex might decide to put her... Maybe she'll actually just have a heart attack or something. She'll find George in such a terrible way that she has a spontaneous heart attack or something, which may also play into Lewis's cards, because then he might go, oh, maybe she did it. Like, he's been such a terrible husband for so many years. He never mentions her in any of the dialogue that you have with George. throughout the entire game. Even if you like get super high heart points with him, I don't think he's ever said anything about Evelyn directly. He'll say my wife this, my wife that, but not Evelyn such and such. Well, Evelyn's constantly talking about George like this and George like that. I wish George would do this, such and such. So they're not really great together, and most people don't really like George. He's grumpy, so maybe Lewis will then frame both of them dying at the same time and him gruesomely, as Evelyn couldn't take it anymore, so she took him out and then ended up having a heart attack due to the shock or something. Maybe they'll try to pin it on Alex, but then again, Alex is one of those young people who will probably get a job at some point. Maybe not. Maybe Lewis is like, well, maybe I can pin it on him, and then he's out of here, or he'll leave on his own because he can't afford the house. Like, Evelyn is getting pension from George because he had that mining accident, but that pension does not transfer to Alex, who is just the grandchild, but he's old enough to work, and he just kind of lives with them rent-free, thinking that eventually he's going to be some famous sportsman, but that's probably not happening. Okay, so then we have here the wizard, whom I'm guessing I was going to turn into the vagrant. He kind of looks like he would smell. I mean, this is a black and white photo, but if you see him in real life, he looks kind of weird. And whenever I see him, I'm like, oh my god, that guy probably stinks of some weird chemical. So, guessing this would be considered a very strange person. This will probably be the person who's living in the house where the head mouse is currently, one of the derelict buildings just outside of town. So this one will be first to die, but he'll die off screen, which is always one of those really annoying deaths because the character doesn't really deserve that, but that's what happens sometimes. Okay, so this is the maybe, and this is the for sure. Let's line them up. We have Evelyn and George, these two. We have the vagrants. We have Leah and Elliot. We have a, not a deaf person, but somebody who's leaving person, and Marnie. Can you see Marnie down there? No, you cannot. I will put her over here. There we go. And then we have the maybes, like I said, Willie and Shane. Maybe. Who knows? I don't know. I'll probably put that in the plot tab, like maybe this one, maybe not them. So that is it for my current plotting session. I hope you found it interesting. Even if you didn't play the game, now at least you have some idea of what everybody looks like and what my plans are for them, at least what Lewis's plans are for them. And we've got 2 names for 2 people, and we're going to have to continue with the rest, give them names, and stick them in my planning book, and then we'll see how I've progressed next week. So I hope you enjoyed that, and hope to see you in another video. Thanks for watching, and bye bye for now.